Celebrating the best of British field sports and country life. More than 100,000 people attended the 2023 Game Fair at Ragley Hall in Warwickshire. It was 3 days of fun for shooters, families, friends and four-legged friends. But storm clouds are gathering for field sports. The threats to the rural way of life and country sport are growing. One of the champions of the countryside at the Game Fair, film star and footballer Vinnie Jones, is patron of the National Gamekeepers Association.
Well, it's always a battle. It's been a battle since I was a kid, and we've got to keep spreading the word and keep doing stuff properly in the countryside. The country pursuits have got to be done properly and abided by the laws and the rules and the regulations, and not people going out and doing ridiculous things to put us under pressure.
Where there's an attack, there's a fight back. As hunting, shooting and fishing enthusiasts came together from all over the UK, field sports groups used the opportunity to spotlight the challenges facing the community. During the 3-day event, they launched a range of initiatives to tackle conservation issues and threats to countryside pursuits. BASC launched its new wildlife fund. It awards grants to fund conservation projects in the UK and abroad. It also provides loans for land purchase.
There's so many different challenges to the rural way of life, and I think it's important that those who actually enjoy shooting and have continued to shoot through the generations actually are proud of what they do. And if we can publicise the wonderful work that we do, it means that shooting and conservation will seem more mainstream, and we can help inform the general public about what we do. So that's why the BASC Wildlife Fund has been launched.
The Countryside Alliance launched the Action for Hunting initiative. It recognises the threats facing trail hunting. It highlights how huntsmen supporters can take action to help secure hunting with hounds for generations to come.
It is really important that hunting addresses some fundamental issues right now to ensure that it has a future well beyond this Labour government, the next Conservative government and all the governments after that. Very likely there'll be a manifesto commitment by Labour. They'll legislate, I think, quite early in the Parliament. And so the issue is about hunting, addressing that, making sure that it is perceived to be legitimate, that we're very obvious that the activity is legal, and therefore there's no justification for draconian legislation.
The government has made it hard to hunt a fox from a horse, but it encourages us to hunt foxes with rifles and shotguns. The Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust launched a scientific overview on predation management. It is the first in a series of think pieces from the Trust, which offers expert guidance on a range of issues and challenges facing the rural community.
We've started with the hottest topic, which is predation management. So basically we've outlined all the ways which we think predation management should happen, when it should happen, and really what makes it a sustainable and ethical process, and the kind of guidelines that we instill in that. Really outlining, if you're going to do it, you need to do it in a way that works for your specific context and in a way that's ethical and sustainable. And we kind of outline lots of peer-reviewed and scientific examples to back that up.
The Game Fair has star quality. Charlie spent all weekend interviewing celebrities and politicians in the Carter Jonas Game Fair Theatre. Vinnie Jones was at the Game Fair meeting fans as an ambassador for Harkeela.
I would just say, carry on with your country pursuits, do them properly, stick together and read everything that's out there. It's sometimes it's a matter of preaching to the preached. We need to have game fairs and stuff like that for people to come and get a different outlook on the countryside.
As far as shooting and the licensing of game birds as a whole, that is definitely a real battleground, but one that's unlikely to be played out on the floor of the House of Commons. This is more likely to be us, to see us in the courts, to see us working together with our partners, the Aim to Sustain groups, our partners at BASC and the NGO and others, to ensure that at every level within Natural England, within DEFRA, that there's a real understanding of the value of shooting, the social and the economic and, of course, the conservation value of shooting, and that restricting it is doing damage to the rural community as a whole.
We have too many people, too many townies coming in and out to the countryside and trying to put their stamp on it. Well, we need to educate them nicely, because people that come out of the countryside, this is the big barrier. People that come from the countryside are not going to change their views, and people in the towns are not going to change their views. So it needs the truth to be told. You know, there's certain people that don't tell the truth, and I think that's the big thing. Tell the truth of what goes on in the countryside, and especially how it needs managing. You know, countryside needs managing by humans, whether you like it or not. It does.
Fieldsports groups want to defend the rural way of life and their sporting passions so they can be enjoyed by future generations. After a weekend like we had at Ragley Hall, the countryside is right behind them. Details of all the initiatives below.